Okay, hi. This is guess I'm just trying to demonstrate some problems I have with the current crouching situation in Counter-Strike, especially with ops and aggressive op plays and crouch jumping and certain things like that, and just try and demonstrate a few problems with this system that Valve put in to try and stop crouch spamming occurring, which is this system here, which slows your character's descent, which is just I find a bit problematic if you're wanting to play aggressive opping, and it shows a bit like it demonstrates that it's almost as if Valve don't want aggressive opping to be really important, or they just or like just by accident they have fundamentally nerfed it in a certain way. Maybe not so much as I'm trying to make out in this video, but for the way I play the op in general, I find this to be incredibly frustrating. Now, the main thing I want to point out is that when you're crouch spamming, this also affects your vertical movement and your vertical velocity, as well as your horizontal velocity. So even though you're crouching like this, if you horizontally move, at the same time, it affects your horizontal movement as you're descending, which for opping is very annoying, especially if you're wanting to peek angles like crouch peeking, like being an aggressive opper and you come out like this, or just come out aggressive. If you've already got the situation where you've been peeking around with your knife out, trying to get momentum, trying to get velocity, and then you come to an angle, and after a few crouches, you move like this with your peek, and your horizontal movement is really slow, your vertical movement is really slow compared to what it would be on a normal peek, where it's like this. That was me holding in crouch from there. This sort of situation really I feel it nerfs aggressive opping in a very detrimental way that isn't needed in Counter-Strike, or just isn't necessary, because opping while moving with your normal speed, you can't really aim accurately like this unless you quickly strafe. But crouch peeking, one good way to get accurate quickly, but this is another problem with it now, if you see what I mean. It's causing more problems for aggressive oppers, which obviously they haven't had enough of them lately with the op nerf last year and the way they've changed Erratic. I don't really call that a nerf to the op or any real effect, but this kind of stuff I just feel negatively affects movement of aggressive oppers and negatively detriments the game and the way oppers can play with their skill ceiling. And yeah, that's the main point I wanted to make. Another few little points about the movement system I wanted to point out, which I'm sure everyone's noticed, is if, let's say you just have a rifle, I'll pick up that again, and you just crouch spam around a few times. The horizontal movement is terrible, as I was demonstrating, so if you want to just like crouch for a quick second, it completely shuts you down, slows you down, which doesn't feel right. I don't know a better way to explain it, but it feels like you're walking through custard, and it doesn't feel correct in the system that Valve have put in. It really is a detriment to your movement. And another problem is if you jump and crouch multiple times in the air, this still comes into effect. So you see, and I'm holding crouch, you see I'm jump crouching here in the air. You won't see it from the player model, but you can hear me pressing the crouch button. And I hit crouch just before I land, and I stand up completely and then crouch again. And I feel like that's another problem, because the crouch delay slowed, you have to fully stand up first. This sort of stuff is very detrimental. So I feel it's very detrimental to how you play, because if you want to peek an angle and then you crouch out like that, or you want to peek anywhere really, it's very problematic, especially like if you're jump crouching up here and then you peek this angle, which I demonstrated better in an earlier video. I'm just going to try and do it again. There you go. Jump, crouch, and now my peak's like this. I'll wait for it to reset. Jump, crouch, and now I'm peeking. It's fine. I'll wait for it to reset. Jump, crouch, and there it is again. It feels too erratic. That's one of my main problems with it. It almost feels random, and it might just be due to the way I did it, the regularity of me doing it, but it just feels wrong that jump crouching has such a negative effect on your movement afterwards when you're trying to actually crouch peek into corners and positions, especially with the op, where crouching is incredibly valuable to keeping an accurate shot. Those were the main points I wanted to make in this video. I hope this highlights some of the problems and issues I've been trying to address with how the op works now, and I hope some people can agree with me that this crouch system just needs to be rethought because it doesn't work and it really is a detriment to aggressive operas with crouch spamming movements. And also it just leads with a lot of like technical problems with the game. It feels like a little it feels like a patch fix, like a plaster on a bigger problem than it actually is, because spamming crouch like this and then just, that should not be occurring when my player doesn't actually even begin to crouch. Just to demonstrate again, not actually crouching yet. That's how slow my crouch is. I didn't actually physically crouch my character at all, but I'm still having the detriments of crouch spamming, and I feel like that's yet another problem with the system. But I hope this video was short enough and explained my point I was trying to get across. If any of you agree or disagree, please just feel free to leave it in the comments or wherever this is on Reddit. And let's hope Valve hears this criticism if it can get up there. Thank you very much for watching, and this is Gasp.